What's up, everybody? Today we are going to get this camera set up, right? Okay. What's up, everybody? Today we are going to... All right. Let's see how this looks with the lights. We want lights on or off. It's going to be... Let's see how that looks. Looks pretty good like this, so we're going to... Alright, we're getting ready to go. Alright, this workout is brought to you by Ghost Energy Drink. Alright, here we go. Alright, so welcome back to core training using the Certified Functional Coach approach. We're going to go over anti-rotational pressing. So what does that mean? Anti-rotation pressing, where I am trying to, in effect, not rotate my body. So that's why it's called anti-rotation. So we're trying not to rotate. So that's the point here. So this is called the standing paddle-off press, or you can call it the standing anti-rotation press. So you want to first make sure that you are kind of perpendicular, kind of parallel to the machine. Then from here, you're going to push out in front of you, but make sure that, the string cable is at a good angle. Okay, so you feel like the string of the cable, I think we're going to have to start over. I'm getting into detail with the string of the cable. Alright, here we go. Let's restart that. Alright, so welcome to the Certified Functional Strength Coach approach. This is core training part 2. We're going to first go over the anti-rotation press. To set up, place your hand on the cable, put the opposite hand over top of the cable, okay, or the handle of the cable. Then from here, you're going to pull it into your chest, stand next to the side, stand to the side of the machine about an arm distance away from the cable machine. From here, we're going to press out in front of us and then slowly return back to the chest. So press forward in front of us, slowly return toward the chest. So in this position, I'm trying not to rotate. That's why we call it anti-rotation standing press out. You can also do this kneeling and half kneeling. So you can start a client or person in the kneeling position, knees under shoulders, feet tucked behind knees, standing tall with the head over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips. Hands are placed right in front of the chest, hand over hand of the cable hand. So you're tall kneeling, half kneeling, other side half kneeling, and so you could also switch this half kneeling position from my right foot closest to the cable to my left foot closest to the cable. So after you perform, say, 5 to 10 reps in the kneeling position, or the half kneeling position, or the standing position, you're going to turn around and perform the same thing. So starting with the half kneeling, or the kneeling position, toe kneeling position, half kneeling, and then standing position. And in the standing position, make sure it's about chest height. Feet are about shoulder width apart, hand over hand, holding onto the cable handle, push out in front. So the cable itself wants to rotate your body, but you're not letting it. That's why they call it anti-rotation press out. Okay? So that's the anti-rotation press out. You can do it half kneeling, kneeling, or standing. You can also perform the lateral side or the lateral shuffle. So what we do is feet are wider than shoulders. Notice they're pretty wide, but not super wide. Hands are in front of the chest. Don't rotate. From here, I'm going to step toward the left 2 times with each foot, and then twice to the right, 2 times with each foot. Okay, and then I'll switch sides. Okay, so that's an example of each side. I would perform 3 reps on each side of those 2 step lateral steps side to side. So that's an anti-rotation press out with a lateral step. So that would be a press out with an overhead reach. Feet are always going to be a little bit wider than shoulders because the more narrow you get, the harder it is to balance the body. So push out in front, knees are slightly bent, and then you're going to reach overhead. Don't let the body bend, and then reach out front. And then pull the to the chest, push out front, reach overhead, turn to the cable in front of the. So push out front, head, reach out front, pull back into the chest. And then you perform about 3 to 5 reps on each side. So this is the standing anti-rotation press out with overhead reach. Okay, a breath cue would be exhale when you push out front for all half kneeling, kneeling, and then also standing. Exhale as you press out in front of you. So that would be called the anti-rotation press out. You may have also heard the term pal-off press. So that's where the pal-off press comes into action. You can begin using bands and loading it with plates. Now, you don't really have to reflect that much here, but let's just see if I can get this to work with a very, very quick and fast and maybe not effective warm up, but let's see here. Okay. So if you add weight, you can add instability with a cable, and then I wouldn't worry about that one. You can see those ones on the internet. But, that's just another example of doing it with a band. But I would look up the press outs with weighted versions. You'll see lots of people doing that, but I would worry about reflecting on that, and I wouldn't worry about noting that one. But I just want to kind of show you that you can oscillate it with a band and with weight in the middle, but you just have to make sure it gets in the middle. I'm not going to take too much time going over that because it's more of a subject, but may come in handy for those athletes looking for those novel activities to keep them engaged, right? So the higher, the more learning, more growth, right? More motor learning, and then you're going to get more success that way. So sometimes you have to make it fun. All right, now we're going to go over static chops and lifts. Okay, so we went over the press out. Now we're going to go over static chops and lifts. Okay. So starting with a static chop, I'm going to stand next to the side. I'm going to stand to the side of the machine, and I'm trying to think of a good way to explain where I want to be, because I really can be anywhere to make this work. So I can't find a place where it's not a good place, but basically I want to find a good angle to do this. Okay, so maybe this is like a 45-degree angle across, but I don't want to get too technical. Just make sure you feel like it's a good path and that it's not behind you. So we wouldn't want to be doing something like this where the cable is like on top of my arm. That's not what we're looking for. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the static chop. So stand next to the cable machine, about an arm length distance away. Hold on to the bottom rope. I just call these anchor points at the bottom. Thumbs are up, and then curl the thumbs around. So we don't want our palms facing out. We want our palms facing in. From here, what we're going to do is set up next to the cable machine. Feet can be shoulder width or a little bit wider apart, almost like you're about to wind up a baseball. Okay, So from this position, what we're going to do is look at the cable machine. We're going to pull it into our chest. We're going to look at our left shoulder and reach and push toward diagonally down into the left. I'm reaching over my right shoulder. I'm going to look at the weight, pull it into my chest, and then I'm going to push it down and diagonally across the body. Okay? So it's a return to the chest, return to the rack, pull to the chest, diagonally across the body with the cable and the rope. So we don't have to pull the rope apart. Okay? And basically break the rope a little bit, but we don't need to be widening the rope. So this is called a static chop because we're just going to do a pull, chop. Okay? Return, return. Pull, chop. Chest, machine. Pull, chop. Chest, machine. Okay, so that's the static chop. 3 to 5 reps on each side for phase 1, and then moving up in weights for phases 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so start off with that exhale as you drive your arms across the body diagonally. So this is the static chop. Now the step lift. So now we'll set the cable low, so a low pulley. We're going to have a hand grip. So again, the thumbs are going up. A neutral grip, hammer grip. Feet are shoulder width apart. We're going to look at the machine. We're going to bend the knees just a little bit. We're going to pull into the chest and then reach across and over the shoulder. So this one, we're going to return to the chest, return to the rack. From here, we're going to pull and press. Turn, return. Pull, press. Return, return. So it's pull, press, return to the chest, return to the rack. And then 3 to 5 reps on each side. So look at the weight, look at the pulley, pull, press, return, return, pull, press, return, return. So our body is having to stabilize as we pull and stabilize as we press. When we're pulling down and pushing down, we have to stabilize our core. So this is a static chop. Now you can also do these half kneeling and kneeling. It would be used as a regression or progression, but I'll let you decide if you want to add half kneeling or kneeling chops and lifts, but we're just going to focus on the standing version. So to progress this is adding a box. So here we have a 16-inch. You might want to go lower, like a 12-inch. But what we're going to do is progress the lift to a step up and lift. So I'm going to step on top of the box with the outside foot. So the outside foot meaning the outside from the machine, the leg closest to the machine on the ground. From here, I'm going to step on the box. I'm going to look down at the machine. I'm going to step up, and as I step up, I'm going to lift. So this is going to be more of a dynamic, which is going to take us into our dynamic chops and lift we're going to now. So the next phase after static lift is dynamic lift. So I'm going to get a little bit, and I'm going to pivot my feet, and I'm going to explode up. So I'm not going to return each time. I'm going to make this one fluid movement. Okay? So this is a diagonal. Okay? So we call this dynamic lift. Now, to make this a progression, we call this the dynamic step up and lift. I'm just going to start with a foot outside the cable machine on the box. I'm going to spring up using the bottom leg and the top leg at the same time. I'm going to press into the box and press into the floor. As I do that, I'm going to diagonally lift the cable and rope across my shoulder. I go into the air. And exhale as I do that. So again, foot that is outside of the machine is on the box. Foot closest to the machine is on the ground. Bend down, lift, across, and over the shoulder. That's your dynamic lift. Now I'll show you the dynamic transverse chop. Transverse, it's going to go chest level this time instead of head level. Okay, so this will go across your body just like you're swinging a bat. So this is where we're going to pretend that we are swinging a bat and hitting a ball. Okay, we're playing baseball here. So this is a dynamic transverse chop. So feet are set up, shoulder width apart. I'm going to pivot on my back foot, the foot away from the machine first, and then I'm going to pivot on my front foot as I recross the body. So I'm going to rotate, reach across, finish, return. Exhale as I go through. Dynamic chops and lifts, anywhere from 5 to 8 reps, because this will be in phase 2 or 3 after your static chops and lifts. So you start with a static chop, then move it into a dynamic chop. So that's transverse, dynamic chop. Now your dynamic chop without a transverse in the beginning of that title. So it's just dynamic chop. You might need to add in a little bit more weight going too fast. And if it's going too slow, then it's probably too much. So you guys find just enough weight. So more like a 50%, 60%, not like an 80%, not like a 20%. So notice that my back hip is internally rotated to start. And then when I go across and down, it externally rotates and the front foot internally rotates. The front hip internally rotates. So anywhere from 5 to 8, you can start with 3. Okay. So that's your dynamic chop, dynamic transverse chop, dynamic uplift, and dynamic step up, uplift. Okay. Next, we're going to go to our push-pull. So if you just set up chest level, we can do this standing, half kneeling, or kneeling. We'll start with half kneeling. So we're going to stack 2 weights across from each other, and we're going to put the cable hand at the same height, facing each other here. So that's probably a little above my knee there. It's going to be for the half kneeling. Make sure you have a good enough weight where you can push pull. And again, that 50% 1 rep max, not going to be 80%, not going to be 20%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to face one cable. I'm going to get in the kneeling position, tall kneeling position, reach back, hold on to the opposite cable. From here, I'm going to get in a position where I have one hand next to my rib cage, one hand reaching out. So from here, I'm going to reach forward, look straight ahead like I'm being measured, so I don't want to be down in the collapse. I'm going to be tall kneeling, head over shoulders and knees, toes, exhale, press and pull at the same time. So this is that tall kneeling, press, pull. Don't jet the head forward, head's in line with the shoulders, head's in line with the spine. So just like you're being measured, exhale, and you can make this dynamic. So this would be static, press, pull, kneeling, and then okay, and then you switch sides. You go for about 5 to 8 on each side. So here's the half kneeling version. Okay, so there's your half kneeling and kneeling, push pull. Now we go to the standing version. So at about chest shoulder level, maybe a little lower. From here, kind of right where your rib bones are, almost in the middle of your core, where that cable should be, right where your xiphoid process is, or what you could say, in the middle, below your chin. Here, push pull, stand, feet are going to be no more than shoulder width apart, and we're going to reach out in front and have one hand next to the rib cage, the side that is pushing next to the rib cage, the side that is pulling is going to be reached out in front of us to start. And we're going to exhale, push pull, slowly return. Static, standing, push pull. Head's in line, so I'm not jetting the head forward. Stand up like you're being measured. And then you can make it dynamic. That's your standing, static, and dynamic push pull. Okay. All right. Next, let's move to the sit-ups. We have quarter, half, full, straight leg, one leg, wide leg, narrow leg, and then we have our carries. So let's start with our quarter sit-up. So our quarter sit-up, we're going to do is feet are about shoulder width apart. We're going to be laying on our back. From here, we can do this here. Running out of memory. So, for my sit-up, feet are shoulder width apart. I'm laying on my back. I'm going to bend my right knee, place my left hand next to the side of my body, and then reach out in front with my right hand, and the back of the head is on the ground. From here, I'm gonna sit up to my elbow, and then slowly sit up to my elbow, and slowly come down. So that's the quarter sit up. The half sit up is gonna sit up to the elbow, push the hand into the ground, and then step your left foot back, okay? Then I'm gonna return the left foot, bend that elbow, slide, and return. So right knee, left leg is straight. Half sit up to the elbow, push to the ground, step the left leg back, look up at the hand, step the left leg through, and slowly back to the start. Now full get up, sit up to the hand, step back. From here, half kneeling, step up, step back, hand down, kick through, slowly turn to your starting position. So this is the full get up, step back, and pretending that you have weight in your hand the whole time. And you're gonna perform 3 to 5 reps on each side. So the quarter, the half, and the whole. And then you can progress this with weight, or reps, or sets. Adding weight to the hand, like a kettlebell, and making it a shoulder workout as well. Next, we're going to go into the one leg, straight leg sit up, and the straight leg sit up. So the straight leg sit up, feet are shoulder width, hand over hand, in front of the chest, head on the ground. We're going to sit up, reach for the ceiling, and slowly return to the ground. Keep the heels locked on the ground, sit up, reach for the ceiling, and slowly return. So this is the straight leg sit up. This is going to be 5 to 8 reps. Then the one leg, straight legs up, bend one knee, same thing. And this you can do 2 to 3 reps on each side. So that would be the straight leg, one leg sit up, okay? Next we have the carries. So we're gonna finish core off with carries. So carries you can hold different ways. First you're gonna have the goblet carry. So you're gonna hold in the goblet position, elbows in, hands holding the kettle, and then finding a line to either step foot over foot, or you can walk normally straight ahead with the kettle in front of your, and then walk about 20 yards one way and 20 yards another way. So that's the goblet carry. Now the two-handed carry, kettles or dumbbells, don't let the kettles go side to side. Keep the arms straight, chest and shoulders nice and sturdy, looking straight. Walk straight ahead. Try not to tilt or move side to side. Walk 20 yards one way and then 20 yards the other way. Next, we have our one arm carry. Okay, one arm carry is going to get the opposite obliques because you're going to use NQL and some transverse to hold everything together as you walk forward. So the one arm carry, you're just taking a bell, kettlebell or dumbbell, walking forward and progressing by walking on a straight line and trying to straight ahead. Next would be the overhead carry. So you perform this with 2 arms or 1 arm. Okay, overhead carry. Or you can also do the rack carry. So the front rack carry is where you hold the bell, kind of rest it on your shoulder as you push the elbow out front. So challenging your shoulder and your wrist ability, and then you can also perform the overhead carry. So you have overhead carry, front rack carry, 2 arm carry, okay, 1 arm carry, and then you have your goblet carry. Okay, goblet is going to be more for the posterior. The 2 arm carry is going to be 360 degrees. The 1 arm carry is going to be the opposite side. The front rack is going to be the opposite side that you're doing, unless you're doing a double front rack, which would be 360, because everything's got to stay together like a Coke can filled with soda. So that's why 360. If it's overhead, it's going to be the opposite side and mostly the shoulder. Okay, so activating different things. Carries are great exercises. Get the heart rate up, and it's a very simple exercise for people to learn, and it activates the 360 degrees of the core, and then some of the exercises hit other parts. All right, so that's a video core training day 2. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think.